What if I told you that inside prison, being famous can actually make you a bigger target? Glendy, for most people, extra security sounds like a privilege, a special benefit reserved for powerful people. But according to former correctional professionals, that's often the complete opposite of what it really means. Mind, because once those steel doors close, fame doesn't disappear, it follows you inside. Sean Diddy Combs spent decades surrounded by bodyguards, private security, and VIP treatment. But today, reports indicate he's living under a completely different set of rules. Rules that no amount of money can simply erase. Over the past few weeks, online rumors have exploded with claims that Diddy has reportedly been placed under extra security inside prison. Some people say it's because of his celebrity status. Others believe there are completely different reasons. But what's the truth? Why would prison officials reportedly give one inmate additional attention while trying to avoid showing any signs of favoritism? Former correctional experts say the answer has very little to do with luxury, and everything to do with safety. Bull-lend. Because inside prison, one wrong decision can change everything. Today, we're breaking down what correctional professionals have publicly explained about managing high-profile inmates, separating verified information from internet speculation, and exploring why someone like Diddy could reportedly require additional security measures. And trust me, the real reason may be very different from what millions of people online believe. For decades, Sean Diddy Combs lived a life that most people could only imagine. Mamdi private jets, luxury mansions, exclusive celebrity events, wherever he went, security teams surrounded him. Every movement was carefully planned, and every appearance attracted cameras from around the world. But everything changed the moment federal authorities took him into custody. In just a matter of hours, the lifestyle built over decades was replaced by something completely different. Steel doors, and concrete walls, strict schedules, and a system where every inmate, no matter how famous, is expected to follow institutional rules. But here's where the story becomes even more interesting. Like the average inmate, Diddy didn't enter prison as an unknown face. He entered as one of the most recognizable celebrities in America. And according to former correctional professionals, that's exactly what creates a unique challenge for prison officials. But it's not about treating someone like a VIP, it's about managing the attention that comes with worldwide fame. Inside any correctional facility, a high-profile inmate can quickly become the center of attention. Other inmates may recognize them immediately. Staff may need to consider additional security factors, and prison administrators have to balance safety with the expectation that everyone follows the same institutional rules. That's why correctional experts have publicly explained that certain security decisions are often made based on risk, not status. And that's where many people get confused. Extra security doesn't automatically mean extra privileges. In many cases, it can actually mean more restrictions, closer monitoring, and fewer opportunities to move freely inside the facility. For someone who spent years controlling every aspect of daily life, that kind of environment can be a dramatic adjustment. But according to former correctional officials, the biggest reason behind additional security isn't always the inmate themselves. Sometimes, it's everyone else around them. And that's where this story takes an unexpected turn. So why would prison officials reportedly place someone like Diddy under extra security? Well, the answer isn't as simple as most people think. When people hear the words extra security, they immediately assume one thing: special treatment, a private lifestyle, bound or privileges that ordinary inmates never receive. But according to former correctional professionals who have publicly discussed how high-profile inmates are managed, the reality is often the exact opposite. Because fame doesn't disappear once someone enters prison, it can actually create entirely new security challenges. Imagine walking into a correctional facility where almost everyone already knows your face. Some inmates may simply be curious. Others may want to talk. Some may try to get close because of your celebrity status. And in certain situations, officials may also have to consider the possibility that a high-profile inmate could become the target of unwanted attention, harassment, or conflict. That's why correctional experts have explained that additional monitoring is often about reducing unnecessary risks and maintaining order inside the facility, not about rewarding someone for being famous. In many cases, increased security can actually mean less freedom, more supervision, more restrictions, closer observation, and fewer opportunities to move around without staff oversight. Ironically, what many people mistake as a benefit can sometimes feel like another layer of confinement. But there's another reason this case has attracted so much attention. Menda. Unlike most inmates, Diddy's legal case has remained in the national spotlight. Every court hearing becomes breaking news. Every legal filing sparks another wave of online speculation. Every new headline reaches millions of people within hours. That level of public attention creates challenges that prison officials must manage carefully while still following institutional policies. And according to former correctional experts, that's exactly why decisions involving high-profile inmates are often made with safety and facility management in mind, not public perception. But while physical security is one challenge, many experts believe the mental pressure of being one of the most recognized inmates inside a detention facility can be even harder to deal with. And that's where the story becomes even more fascinating. Most people imagine that prison is only about locked doors and concrete walls. But former correctional professionals have often explained that one of the biggest challenges isn't the building itself. It's the loss of control. Think about it. For decades, Diddy decided where he would go, who he would meet, what he would eat. And when he wanted privacy, he simply disappeared behind the gates of one of his luxury estates. Inside prison. None of those choices belong to him anymore. Every morning begins on the institution schedule. And wake-up times are fixed, meals are served at designated hours, movement is controlled, phone calls are limited. Bond's visits follow strict procedures, and every day follows nearly the exact same routine. For most inmates, that adjustment is already difficult. But for someone who spent years surrounded by assistants, employees, and personal security, the psychological impact can be even greater. According to former correctional experts, high-profile inmates often experience another layer of pressure. Knowing that every legal development immediately becomes national news, every court appearance creates fresh headlines. Every rumor spreads across social media within minutes. And millions of people begin debating what's happening, whether the information is accurate or not. That kind of public attention doesn't stay outside the prison gates. It becomes part of the inmate's reality. While prison staff focus on maintaining order inside the facility, the outside world continues watching every development, analyzing every headline, and speculating about what might happen next. It's a level of scrutiny that very few inmates ever experience. And according to correctional professionals, maintaining safety and routine under those circumstances requires careful planning not because of celebrity privilege, but because of the unique challenges that fame can create inside a correctional environment. Mendiu, but despite all the headlines, CDO, the biggest mystery still remains. Why has this case continued to generate so much speculation, even when so many of the viral claims can't be verified? Then that's where the story takes another unexpected turn. As Diddy's legal case continues, one thing has become impossible to ignore. The internet seems determined to fill in every unanswered question. On every single day, new videos appear claiming to have inside information. Manual, anonymous prison sources, secret recordings, hidden documents, and dramatic headlines promising to reveal the real truth. Within hours, millions of people have already watched, shared, and debated those stories. Slanged. But here's what many viewers don't realize. Not every viral claim is backed by evidence. Former correctional professionals have repeatedly warned that high-profile cases often generate a flood of speculation because public curiosity is so intense. When information is limited, rumors tend to spread much faster than verified facts. That's exactly what's happened in Diddy's case. One report appears, then another YouTube video repeats it. Social media accounts repost it. And before long, thousands of people begin treating speculation as if it were confirmed. That's why correctional experts stress the importance of relying on official court records, publicly reported information, and verified statements rather than anonymous online claims. Because once a story goes viral, separating fact from fiction becomes incredibly difficult. At the same time, the legal proceedings continue to move forward. Every hearing, every filing, every courtroom appearance, adds another piece to the bigger picture, And while the internet focuses on rumors, prison officials remain focused on something much more practical: maintaining safety, following institutional procedures, and ensuring the facility operates according to its rules. But perhaps the biggest question hasn't been answered yet. If additional security is about managing risk rather than providing special treatment. What could Diddy's future inside the prison system look like as his legal case continues? That's the question everyone is now waiting to see answered. So where does the story go from here? Right now, one thing is certain, the spotlight isn't fading. If anything, it's getting even brighter. Every new court hearing, every legal filing, every official update, immediately becomes breaking news across television, YouTube, and social media. And that's exactly why this case has remained one of the most closely watched celebrity legal stories in recent years. But while millions of people continue debating what might happen next, the real answers won't come from viral posts or anonymous internet accounts. They'll come from the courtroom. Legal experts have repeatedly pointed out that the judicial process, not online speculation, will ultimately determine how this case unfolds. Until then, the correctional facility continues operating under its established procedures, while Diddy's legal team and prosecutors prepare for the next stages of the case. And if there's one lesson former correctional professionals consistently emphasize, it's this, when an inmate is as recognizable as Diddy, prison officials must balance safety, security, and institutional rules at the same time. It's a responsibility that extends far beyond a single individual. MBNGs. Because inside a correctional facility, every decision has the potential to affect staff, inmates, and the overall operation of the institution. Whether public curiosity grows even further or gradually fades will likely depend on what happens inside the courtroom over the coming months. Damned, until then, the questions will continue, the headlines will continue, and so will the speculation. But one thing remains clear. Behind all the rumors, viral videos, and sensational headlines is a legal process that is still unfolding. Lean, only when that process reaches its conclusion will the full picture become clearer. So what do you think? Lance, do you believe high-profile inmates should receive additional security because of the unique challenges that fame creates inside prison? Or should every inmate be managed in exactly the same way? Kent, share your thoughts in the comments below. After months of non-stop headlines, countless viral videos, and endless online debates, one question still refuses to go away. What is the real truth behind Diddy's time in prison? For some people, the answer is simple. Langus. They believe every rumor they read online. Others refuse to believe anything until it comes from official sources. But somewhere between those two extremes lies the reality. Many and former correctional professionals have publicly explained that when someone enters prison with worldwide fame, officials face challenges that don't exist with the average inmate. Managing safety, preventing unnecessary attention, and maintaining order become part of the job not because a person is famous, but because a high-profile inmate can present unique operational concerns. That doesn't automatically mean luxury. It doesn't automatically mean special privileges, and it certainly doesn't mean every viral story circulating online is true. Boundia, as Diddy's legal case continues through the courts, new developments will almost certainly generate fresh headlines and renewed public interest. Until then, much of what appears online will remain a mix of verified reporting, opinion, and speculation. One thing, however, is undeniable. This case has become one of the most closely followed celebrity legal stories in recent memory. Every court appearance, every legal filing, every official update, will continue to be watched by millions around the world, and until the legal process reaches its conclusion, the questions are unlikely to stop. Jeant, so now we want to hear from you. Do you think the extra security surrounding high-profile inmates is simply a necessary safety measure? Or do you believe celebrities are treated differently once they're behind bars? Leave your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more high-quality coverage of major celebrity cases, prison stories, and breaking news, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next upload. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.